In this video, we will show you a demonstration of the Mac Professional's iPad checkout solution for libraries. This video will start off with some brief slides that describe the solution, as well as briefly discuss who Mac Professionals is and why this was created. Next, we'll jump into a demo of the actual solution and show you how the iPads are automatically erased and managed using this solution. Mac Professionals has been around since January of 2000. We have about 70 employees, much of which who are engineers, and we flex up to much larger numbers than that in the summer to handle large one-to-one initiatives for schools. We have engineers in 6 states, and we have a large warehouse where we do mass provisioning and computer imaging for our customers and partners. We've won some awards, and we're a certified woman-owned business. A little bit about what we do. The main core of our business is field engineering services. We have engineers that travel all over the country doing technical services that range from iPad deployments, Mac integrations, to wireless networking installations, even implementing video solutions for the television and movie industries. We also do mass provisioning of devices, iPads as well as computer imaging, for our own customers as well as our partners like Apple. It's not uncommon for Apple to use us for some of their large iPad rollouts. Just this year alone, we've imaged and provisioned well over 150,000 devices. We have a large 7 by 16 by 365 help desk that we actually wrap this solution in. I'll explain more about this a bit later, but it allows you to call pretty much any time and get someone to help you with your questions or problems. Lastly, and most importantly, we do professional services for companies like Apple and Jamf and other like companies. What this means is if you were to call Apple and ask for an Apple engineer to come on site, there would be a very good chance that they would send us. We're one of Apple's largest partners in the services space, and our engineers travel all over the country doing professional services on behalf of Apple. We've been deploying iPads in schools and businesses since the iPad first came out. We've never considered the library market until a couple libraries asked us for help with their deployment. This is when we realized it's really no different than what we were already doing for businesses and schools. So we created this kit specifically for libraries. It contains 10 iPads, a secure charging and sync tray, which you can see on the left, an Apple Mac Mini. This is used to reconfigure and erase the devices. And this Mac Mini can be used for other things as well. It can be an everyday librarian computer, an administration machine. It doesn't have to be solely for managing these devices. Comes with a display, keyboard, and mouse. And then we wrap our consulting around it, which I'll explain in a moment. We do the complete setup of everything, from the automation of the computers to the configuration of the iPads. And it includes some documentation, some videos on how to manage the software. And then we also wrap our help desk around this. So this includes remote support. So if you ever run into questions or problems, you can reach somebody. And lastly, we laser engrave the devices. This helps deter theft, and also it's a way to brand your iPads for your library. There's no proprietary software in this solution. There's no proprietary hardware. There's no maintenance contracts. And most importantly, this is an Apple-blessed solution. We know this because we deploy services for Apple. We know how these devices should be configured and managed. Typically, this means when updates come out, things don't break because Apple themselves are using the same tool sets. Because we don't have proprietary hardware, we could swap out these components. If you wanted a nicer computer and display, we could go with an iMac. If you needed to be more mobile, we could go with a laptop. If you even needed a different charging or syncing solution, we have others we recommend. For example, if you needed more devices and needed to be more mobile, we could do a cart. The solution's very flexible. We can customize any setup for your specific needs. A little bit about what the process looks like if you decided to move forward. We have what we call a readiness survey. We feel we've run into just about every scenario when deploying these devices, and we created this questionnaire to help you run through the process. We don't expect you to know all the answers. This is where we come and help you fill in the holes. We recommend best practices, and we discuss things that are not quite clear. For example, the readiness survey asks if you want patrons to print using the iPads. If you answer yes, then we dig deeper into what is required for this to happen. We talk about are your printers AirPrint compatible and what's going to be required to get them there if they're not. Some questions are simply yes or no questions. Like, would you like patrons to be able to install applications or use Siri? But the end result is a blueprint of how we're going to configure everything and automate it for you. It tells us exactly how these devices should be configured, set up, and what settings should be applied. Next, we will provide you with a list of some 300 applications other libraries have put on their devices. You can choose to use all of these apps, some of these apps, or none of them. You give us the list of apps you would like installed, and we configure everything from the branding to the automation to the configuration and the laser engraving. Lastly, we'll do a remote approval of the device to ensure it looks how you expect it. Once approved, we ship everything to you fully configured, and all you have to do is plug everything in. The last step is a remote training session with your staff, and we show them how to use the software and train them on the system. At this point, I'll exit the slides and show you a demo of the software. This is what the software looks like fully configured. As you can see on the left-hand side, it's showing 10 iPads connected. I know this because of the green light indicated here on the left. If I unplug a device, you'll notice I just unplugged device number 1. You'll notice the green light disappears. That indicates that it's been checked out or unplugged. If I plug the device back in, the iPad immediately starts running through a process. And what it's doing here is it's completely erasing the device and reconfiguring it. If the user took pictures, surfed the internet, downloaded apps, even changed settings, all of those things would be erased and the device is set up back to the state that we decided during our readiness survey. It pretty much handles the entire reconfiguration process. This process takes anywhere between 1 to 2 minutes, but it's fairly quick. Even if the device was unplugged during this process, it was already erased because that happens immediately. While I'm waiting for this to finish, I'll show you our video documentation on the desktop. So over here on the left, I have a folder of how-to videos that takes you through some of the processes like changing restrictions, deleting apps, installing apps. We even have some basic how to use Mac OS X if the Mac is new to you. I can see that the device has finished restoring. Now let me show you some additional features of the software. Over here on the right is an actual iPad that is currently connected to show you these next features. We have what we call configuration profiles that we created based on your readiness survey. These profiles contain many of the settings and restrictions you can manage on the iPads. Take restrictions, for example. If I go into restrictions, I can disable things like the camera, FaceTime, messages. I can also block Siri if I find it too distracting in the library. I can even block people from installing apps. I can block certain applications like the ability to use YouTube or even Safari. I can even set content ratings on the device. So I can only allow certain age limit ratings for applications, 12 or younger, for example. I can do that with movies and TV shows as well. To show you how a restriction will work, I'll disable the camera in this example. I'll hit save and apply these changes to all the devices. Momentarily, on the right, I should see the camera vanish from this iPad. The command is sent to remove the camera from all the devices, and I just saw the camera in FaceTime get removed from the iPad. That's as easy as it is to change a restriction on the device. There are many other settings I can change on the devices. For example, I can change the wireless network settings. This ensures the iPads automatically connect to your wireless network after they're erased. These wireless network settings are reapplied to the devices upon erasing. We can set content filters and whitelist or blacklist certain websites. I can subscribe to library calendars. In this example, I'm subscribing to a library's calendar of events. And when I open up iCal on the iPads, I can see what events are coming up. For example, I could see we have a Minecraft party tonight, or I can see what events are coming up in the additional months. We also have the ability to add web clips. Web clips are just bookmarks that go to a certain website. Web clips look like apps, but when they are open, they just go to a specific website. There are many different options we can configure in the configuration profile. I won't go into them all, but these are some of the more popular ones. Another feature of the system is the ability to lock the iPads to a specific app. For example, if I choose one of the applications installed on the devices and hit apply, in this case I'll choose BrainPop for example, and hit apply. This will then send a lock command to all the devices and automatically open this particular app. No matter what the end user does, they will not be able to exit that application. If they hit the home button or even reboot the device goes right back to this application. This allows libraries to focus the iPads on a particular task and ensure people aren't surfing the internet or using the iPad for something they shouldn't be. To remove the application lock, we simply choose none and hit apply. Then the unlock command is sent to all the devices and the person can exit that application. The next area I want to show you is how we manage applications. If I go to the apps section of the software, you can see I have a large list of applications I can choose from. Let's say I no longer wanted BBC News installed on these iPads. I would simply uncheck BBC News and hit apply. And then if I launch the news section of the iPad, I should momentarily see BBC News disappear from all the devices over here on the right. Unchecking the app simply sends a remove command and the app is removed from all the iPads, as I can see it just was. Installing an app is just as simple. I simply recheck the app that I want deployed and hit apply, and it is resent to all the devices. This solution also supports paid apps. So for example, I can see I have a paid application here. In order to be legal with Apple, you need to purchase as many applications as you're going to be deploying on the iPads. So for example, if I'm going to be putting this paid application on 10 iPads, I need 10 licenses. We walk you through this process, make sure you're comfortable with Apple's volume purchase program and purchasing applications, and then this software supports the ability to add paid application licenses. This allows you to distribute paid apps as well as free apps to the devices. The last thing I want to show you is that we have the ability to configure each one of these iPads independently if we wanted to. We also have the ability to create device groups. So for example, if I had a children's device group and then maybe an adult device group, I could then select 5 iPads to maybe go in the adult device group, and maybe these 5 iPads to go in the children's device group. And then I can have completely different configuration profiles and completely different apps for each of these device groups. So not only can I configure these iPads in groups, I can also configure them independently if I so wished. In closing, I would like to say we have many options available, and this is highly customizable. We have options to lease this solution, and we even have the ability to insure the iPads through an insurance company that will protect the devices from accidental damage or even theft. Thank you for watching this demonstration, and please feel free to reach out to us with any additional questions you might have.